So I can't believe I'm starting another video where I'm lost, but my driver dropped me off and I've got a little bit of a walk to go to get where I'm going. I'm going to be interviewing someone named Michelle who lives here in the marina in Puerto Vallarta. And yeah, my driver dropped me off at the center of the marina, but I've got to do a little walk. Once again, if you watched the video with Amy, you know that I got dropped off in the wrong place. I really need to learn the lesson of make sure the person you're trying to reach sends you a pin on a Google map so you know exactly where to get to. Join me as I walk in the heat of Puerto Vallarta. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going the right direction now. I'm definitely turned around because the way the marina is, feels like north is south and south is north because the marina is inland. So just a little bit confusing, but I'm pretty sure the water is to my left now and I'm heading north. So the woman back at the marina said it was just 4 blocks. Looks like I am almost here. It's about 15 minutes of walking later, getting a little warm here, but we're about to meet Michelle. And Michelle has a great story about how a near-death experience brought her to realize that it was time to move to Mexico. And here we are pulling up at the gate now.
Hey, I'm Michelle Filkowski, and I know Brighton talked to you a little bit or mentioned that I had a life-changing experience. We'll get to that. Right now, we're sitting in Puerto Vallarta, and I live in paradise. So life-changing experience or not, Vallarta is one of the best places in the world. I haven't traveled extensively. Actually, my first time out of the US or Canada was to Puerto Vallarta, and then we just started coming back every year because it is paradise and we love it here. We love the people, we love the culture, we love the sense of family, and that's where we are. So I came here the first time like in 1994 with family. As I said, we came every year. Happened to stay at Velas Vallarta in the marina, and they were building something next door, so we checked that out, and long story short, ended up buying 2 condominiums, one pre-construction, one 2 years later. A little nervousness around the 2001 time frame and what we did financially. It worked out obviously very well as I'm sitting with the ocean in the background here. And we had planned always to sell those 2 condos, buy a 2-bedroom, and retire here. But life decided to change. And in August of 2014, I fell into a fire. And I was alone. And it took me a while to get out of that fire. I suffered 80% full thickness 3rd-degree burns, which means it burnt my nerves as well, and spent over a month in burn ICU. And it took about 4.5 years of recovery for the nerves to regenerate and for me to be able to get in that beautiful pool or go into any big body of water. We were unable to live in Minnesota when I was healing during the winters because it was just too cold for my skin grafts to heal appropriately. My wonderful son offered us a place to stay the first year in Southern California. Next year we came to Puerto Vallarta to get our condos ready for season as they were rented. A series of other losses and life events happened during that time. And when my husband came back from making an emergency trip back to Minnesota, we looked at each other and said, why are we moving? Why are we going back to Minnesota in December? So we rented a place, even though we own 2, and stayed here for 7 months, made the decision that we weren't crazy. It made perfect sense for us to move to Puerto Vallarta full-time. We went home, sold everything, packed up the car, and drove to Puerto Vallarta. That's another whole story. And then we had to figure out exactly how we are going to live. My husband has retirement benefits and income. I'm not eligible for mine and certainly was not 7 years ago. So I thought, we've owned rental property all our lives, and I've bought and sold so many properties. I can be a real estate agent and a property manager. So that's what I did, and we're sitting in paradise, and I'm in live and happy. Wouldn't want to redo the reason why we got here, but certainly am blessed to be able to call this home. and be in Vallarta. Okay, so we're sitting at Bay View Grand, the hole in the dirt that we bought back in 2000. That's when we wrote the contract. We took possession in 2001. Puerto Vallarta's kind of first big condominium complex. We have 483 condos here. We sit on 20 acres of bayfront property. Won't be another property like Bay View Grand just because there isn't that much available, and there's a lot of people wanting to build upward. Bay View is a full-time ownership condominium. It's not a resort. We have, because of the size of our property, we have over 90 employees, so it's like a small city. I'm privileged enough that the people, the homeowners at Bay View Grand have elected me to be part of the homeowners council, so I know a lot about this, having bought pre-construction and now living here full-time and being on the council. When we first moved to Vallarta, we couldn't stay at Bay View Grand because our condos were rented out. Now we made the choice to live at Bay View Grand full-time. We had rented a very nice house on the golf course and lovely neighborhood, but it just wasn't Bay View Grand, and we loved Bay View Grand and moved here for that reason. The marina itself is just so easy. It's like living in the suburbs. I can get to Zona Romantica and downtown as easy as I can get to Bucerías, depending on traffic. But I can do a half-a-mile walk and be at restaurants and go to clubs and do all that. Not so much clubs, but because I don't do that. Go to bars, restaurants, spas, those kinds of things. So it's perfect for our lifestyle. So Brighton asked me about buying pre-construction. Obviously, when you buy pre-construction, there's a gamble of doing that. At the time, we took that gamble. We paid for our 7th floor, 1-bedroom condo, almost $40,000 with costs and everything. Today, I could sell that for $265,000 without blinking. Their inventory is very, very low and demand is very high. Not just a Bay View Grand, in Vallarta, all across Vallarta, that's true. The rentals, long-term rent, you can get about $1,500 right now for a 1-bedroom. I have a 2-bedroom, which actually is vacant. They're moving in tomorrow, and they signed a 2-year lease on that property for $2,600 a month. So we definitely are seeing increase in rents and certainly property values, with still very high demand and very low inventory, which of course makes the prices higher.
So what with a 2-bedroom, the cost to buy?
The cost to buy, 2 years ago I sold a 2-bedroom here. It was about $485,000. Needed a little bit of work. Right now that same 2-bedroom would be closer to $550,000. Initially, there was more foreign ownership than there is now. 70% of Bay View Grand is actually owned by Mexican nationals, and then the rest mostly American Canadian with a spattering of other nationalities. It actually works perfectly for Mexican owners to have this as their second home, their beach home, because their biggest holidays are, of course, Semana Santa, Easter, Christmas, and New Year's, and then the month of August seems to be very busy. November, December somewhat, but January, February, March are the peak rental season, and every condo is rented if they rent them. There are a few people who choose not to rent their condos. And of the 483 condos at Bay View Grand, and yes, we're close to the airport. Of these, only less than 50 of our 483 condos are people who live at Bay View Grand year-round. So, for example, we're sitting here in the middle of July, and there is hardly anybody here. I could easily be the only person in the nearly quarter-mile long swimming pool. There are multiple pools connected. So it's very quiet at this time of year. Soon, our Mexican owners will be coming with families and kids and music, and it starts to feel like real Mexico, where there's life is a celebration. It's the culture and the warmness of the people, and we have that, and that will happen again at the holidays, and then during January, February, and March. I know it's hard to believe, but I may be one of the youngest people here at Bay View Grand. Most of the condominiums are rented, if they rent them. Actually, most people get here and spend an inordinate amount of time for the first week running around to make sure they're secured their property for the next season. Because Bay View is so popular and people want it so much, we actually have most people require that if you're going to rent, it has to be January, February, and March. It's very seldom will they rent just one of those months, even though everybody seems to want the peak February. So it's very popular with a lot of Canadians and people from the northern climates of north of the Mason-Dixon line, let's call it, because in the winter this is perfect temperature. Even today, it's the middle of July. Yes, it's warm and yes, it's humid, but because we sit on the ocean, there is a comfortable breeze. I'm not sitting here sweating. If I went on the other side of the building, that would change.
Yes, I can vouch for that. It is way hotter on the other side of the building as I was walking here. Super hot, but here with the ocean and the breeze, and we're in the shade, it is gorgeous.
So I can take you up and show you one of the 2-bedrooms condominiums here at Bay View that I actually sold and now manage for clients from just outside of Edmonton. They live in Leduc County, Alberta. So they will not mind that I show you their beautiful unit. So this is a condo that I sold in and currently the property manager of. It's on the 9th floor of the B building, which means it has downtown and bay views. And on the opposite side, it has golf course views and airport views. This is an updated condominium. It has updated appliances and cabinetry. The living room, there's a laundry room back over there. The living room and dining room are connected and lead out to a terrace with wonderful views. And then down this hallway, we have 2 bedrooms. One is a master with an ensuite, and that also opens to the terrace with those beautiful views. And the 2nd bedroom has access to the bathroom from the bedroom, and then there's access to the guest bathroom as well from the hallway. It also has a sliding glass door, mostly for the breeze and the views. So this is the master. This again has been updated. And so huge walk-in shower and everything else you need in a bathroom. Please excuse the patio furniture that is in this bedroom. As a good property manager will do, you take all of the things from the patio and put them inside and have blackouts on everything, because the intensity of the sun in Puerto Vallarta will just eat that away, and you'll come back and it's half disintegrated. So you want to make sure that, especially the rattan kinds of furnitures, are out of the direct sun. This condo, as all of these condos were at Bay View Grand, did have a jacuzzi in this area, but it was really a jetted tub. It didn't have any heat pumps or anything, so they became kind of not that useful, because you'd have to empty your entire hot water tank to fill it up, and then it was just a jetted tub. And this property, even though it's surprising, is 20 years old, and plumbing tends to leak, and as a condominium owner, you are responsible for the damage below you if you leak to it. So as this is the views, the owners of this condo have a wonderful spotting scope, and they can sit here, especially during whale season, November to Marchish, when all the humpback whales come into the bay, and they can watch babies with their mamas, and the dolphins are here all the time. There's always something to watch in the bay. And then they also have beautiful city views, so at night they can see downtown Vallarta.
So that was great talking with Michelle, and I am now in my my in-driver, which is like an Uber, but much more common down in Mexico, and heading back to the other part of town. So it was good to see this different type of the condo life in Mexico and Puerto Vallarta, because the other videos that I've done with folks are more in the older, the more Mexican parts of town, or the Zona Romantica. So those videos, you're gonna see one or two of them up here now, so head on over there, and if I make a video about in-driver, maybe that'll be up here too. Hasta luego.